Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I'm going to do a couple of shows because I missed Monday and I didn't do a full class yesterday. So I'm going to do two classes today. I'm going to do the first one on sports, finally getting to the MAC and the Sunbelt. And then I'm going to do then I'll get more into economics. Gold right now, 33.66. It's going to go up because it's the 10 o'clock drop. And at 10 o'clock, you'll see it go to probably close to 3,400. Silver, 37.82. And it's doing the same thing. So silver should hit 38 today. Again, it's bullshit. It's price fixing. It's that. I know some of you like to listen to other people and quote them as if they know what they're talking about. And I just warn you to be careful with that because it's not, you have to know who you're talking about. A guy like Martin Armstrong really doesn't know. He's a convicted Ponzi schemer. So if you're listening to people who quote Martin Armstrong, you've got to be very careful. Why would you listen to them? So you got to be. You just have to be very careful. Anyway. So we're going to look at our, let's start with baseball. Yesterday had a really good day. And no, Paul Scanes is not pitching today. Andrew Haney's pitching today at 12:35 game. I don't know why they have games so early on a Wednesday. Probably not going to sell too many tickets. Anyway, let's look at baseball yesterday. All right, we start off with Minnesota over 8.5 against the Tigers, and they win 6-3. Minnesota, I was glad for that. I was surprised Minnesota had a 6-1 lead. Detroit's not hitting against Zebby Matthews. With his 5.17 ERA. This Chris Paddock they got from Minnesota, he sucks. The other guy they got from Baltimore, he sucks. You question the GM's ability to spot talent because I don't think he has any. His roster is mostly minor leaguers. So I'm talking the Tigers. None of these guys are – how they got so many all-stars was a joke. I mean, if you look at Happy Bias, his batting average was like 290. Now it's like 260, which means in the last few months he's hitting 200. Yeah, good all-star. He's there for the contract because his contract expires after this year, and he's making too much money. So now he's going to try, and then what are you going to get next year? Is 200 again? How Zach McKinstry was an all-star. Wow. How Riley Green was an all-star. Wow, the guy's hitting like 200 also, and he leads the league in strikeouts. What they're not telling you is against really weak pitching and against really bad teams, the Tigers are like the Lions. They do well. But in the bigger games, against the better talent, against the major league talent, they don't do anything. Anyway, so we start off with the win on the over. Philadelphia, they beat Baltimore 5-0. Philly's hot. The Mets, we lose. Cleveland beats them 3-2. You got to be careful with Cleveland. Boston is on a 7-game win streak, wins 6-2 with Garrett Croquet coming in with his 2.24 ERA. Milwaukee's on a big winning streak again. They're up. They won 7-2 over Atlanta. We had Texas 2-0 over the Yankees, as the Yankees are on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. But we had Nathan Eovaldi yesterday, And he did what should happen, right? He shuts them out. He's got a one. He's 10-3 with the 1.38. These are the expectations you think you're going to get with a Nathan Eovaldi, with a Skubal, with Max Fried, with Scanes. They're going to shut out the other team. And the question is, and that's why I'm going to get to the managers in a minute. The managers are just ridiculous. We had Toronto over Colorado. Toronto wins 10-4. And our lone loser is Arizona, who was hot, losing. Now, this is really weird. 10-5 in 11 innings. They were down 5-3. They tied the game at 5-5. And then I don't understand this 5-run 10th inning. So as soon as they get in the extra innings, they put the guy on second, and then they go to this terrible pitcher because, the pitcher can't go more than an inning. And then they end up losing 10-5. And that was the only loss, them and the Mets. So I go 6-2 yesterday. The 3 unit I hit was Minnesota, Detroit over 8.5. So that's yesterday. And then we'll look at today's lineup. I've played 7 games. I've already looked at it, but we'll go through it. Pitt and the Niners. The Niners 145-8. Robbie Ray 9-5 with a 2.85. He's not that good. He's okay. And Andrew Haney 5-9 with a 4.89. Let me send this to Daria. All right, so I don't know. Can we trust Robbie Ray? Well, this goes into the deeper question. Can we trust the manager? And we can't. The managers are really incapable of understanding the game that they're managing at this point. It's sort of like the U.S. in fighting the Russians. In the U.S., their military is clueless. They don't have good generals or good people that have been in a war. They don't know. They're in way over their heads. If they want to fight the Russians, they'll lose. Just supplying Ukraine with weapons, they're going to lose. Well, they've already lost. But it's the same thing. It's running GM. It's running anything. Running an ice cream store. If you don't know what you're doing, you're probably in trouble. You guys listening to other people, I don't mind it. That's why I give you Egon and Mark McGuire to listen to. But I wouldn't listen to Andy Scheckman, and I wouldn't listen to whatchamacallit, Rick Rude, or the other guy, whatever his name is, the bald communist who works for the government, Reichard. So you got to be careful who you're listening to. I keep running into that where you have to do a check on who the person is to see if you should listen to them or not, because a lot of people can have videos, but it doesn't mean they're correct. And this is the problem with economics and gold and business and stuff like that. Anyway, so you've got managers that really are clueless. And the same thing with the football coaches. The difference is the manager is like, you pitched 100 pitches or 90 pitches. We got to take you out. It's the 3rd time through the lineup. We got to take you out. And we got to put in this inferior pitcher. And then they end up losing a game. Right? This is the problem. You have to have gut instincts. You have to know what your game plan is. Who's in your bullpen? Are they any good? You can't just say lefty against lefty, and then the team pinch hits like Philadelphia did. I love that. The Tiger idiot puts in a lefty because there's 2 lefties coming up, and then they pinch hit for him with righties. And then the guy got killed. It's like, You've got to understand that that's what they're going to do. You've got to be thinking fifth dimensionally, and you've got to go to what you know. So it just shows how weak the managers are. They're basically, oh, he's pitched 95 pitches. He must come out of the game. Well, they're not all the same. I mean, some guys can go 120 pitches. Mickey Lolich pitched on 2 days rest, game 7, complete game, and they won the World Series. Now he would have never pitched, and he at best would have went 5 or 6 innings. Oh, sorry, Mickey, you've given up 90 pitches. We got to pull you for Joe Blow in the bullpen, and then we lose the World Series because the manager's an idiot. And this is the problem. They cannot think outside the box. They are just tied into this 100-pitch crap, which makes 0 sense. This 5-day crap, which makes 0 sense. I question if they're trying to win or not. Well, we don't want to get the guy hurt. Okay, that's socialism, and that's not what you play sports for. You understand you can get hurt in it. It's sports. It's like roller skating, it's ice skate, it's skiing, it's race car driving, it's football. You can get hurt. And then you decide, do you want to do it? So when I was in high school, I saw some big guys, and I played football 8th and 9th grade. I didn't know these guys were too big. And I didn't want to break my arms and legs playing a sport that I was 5'9" and not going to do anything with. So I started golfing because I could golf at 5'9", and I was pretty good at it. So you've got to understand what you're getting into, and you understand the risk. Oh, yeah, I'm risking I could get hurt. Now, if I'm going to be a pitcher, I could get hurt. But you build up your tolerance, and you can pitch 140, 150 pitches, no problem. Now, I wouldn't recommend all these. They're trying to spin the ball, and analytics said if you can spin it, you'll get more guys out. Yeah, but my arm will fall off. So you're risking injury. And then, you got to throw the ball 96 miles an hour like everybody else in the league. Like the hitters can hit 96. Throwing the ball fast does not mean that the hitters can't hit. It's a timing thing. They just swing earlier. I mean, it's not that difficult. I know, I played. So this is the problem. I was watching Little League yesterday at the gym, and they're pitching maybe 40 miles an hour, 50. How fast 12-year-olds can pitch, and they hit it, but it's comparable. At 12, a 40 or 50 mile pitch, and at 21, a 95 mile an hour pitch is the same thing. Either you have the hand-eye coordination or you don't. So I'm looking, this is where I look at the managers, and they're just clueless. They don't know. You've got your ace on the mound. Now, you're stupid enough to wait 5 days with the ace. That's your problem. Okay, fine. Wait 5 days, pitch him every 5th day. Me, I'd pitch him every 4th day. And I also wouldn't limit him. I would want at least eight innings out of him. A Scooble, he'd probably, since I don't have a bullpen, he's probably going to pitch 9 innings every game. There was no reason to pull him out of the Philadelphia game. Oh, we had 95 pitches or 100 pitches, whatever. Who cares? Philly couldn't hit him. Then finally they hit him, and he gave up 3 runs, and then he took him out of the game because Detroit keeps trying to get walks and everything. They're hurting themselves because they want to hit a bunch of foul balls and run the pitch count up. But in doing that, it hurts their own pitcher because the guy's sitting on the bench and getting cold. So hit the ball. And that's what good hitting teams hit the ball. Bad hitting teams try to hit foul balls, and we'll walk because we can hit. Because if you can hit, you'd hit. I had a player in my girl's fast pitch, and she had a leg thing on, like a leg, I don't know, a hard plastic thing. And she wore it on her left shin. And if the pitch came in close, she stuck her leg out and got hit by the pitch on purpose. And I didn't catch on at first. I said, oh, she got hurt. Is she okay? And it was her dad doing it. And I was like, I told her, swing the fucking bat and hit the ball. We're not up here to get hit by pitches. You're my leadoff hitter because you're the best hitter on the team. I want you to hit the ball. I don't need you to walk and steal second. I need you to hit because then other girls will hit once they see hitting. But to get hit by a pitch, yeah, I fail to see the strategy there. Maybe if you can't hit, you do that. But if you can hit, hit. So I just see, you get pissed when other people try to manage the team. But the manager has got to play to win, and they're not. They're not close to playing to win. They play analytics. Well, who says analytics is any good? I don't think analytics is any good. Where is it proven it's good? Well, if we look at the statistics, third time through the lineup or over 100 pitches, the pitcher isn't as good. Well, really? Because he's tired? But it doesn't mean he can't pitch and throw strikes and get outs. Everybody, what do you think? Nolan Ryan probably pitched 150 pitches a game some games because he threw a lot of strikeouts. Tom Seaver, all those guys on the Mets and the Orioles, Jim Palmer, and those, you don't think they threw over 100? They all won 20 games on the, 70 or 71 Orioles. 4 pitchers won 20 games. You don't think they pitched into the 8th and 9th innings? Jim Palmer, Dave McNally, you don't think because you've got to understand they're the best player on your team. And as I tell you about football betting, we play the star. You have the star. You have Skubal, Fried, Scanes. They're the best player on your team. They're for sure the best pitcher in the league. If we had top 5 pitchers that are there, why are you pulling them out of the game after 7 innings or 6 innings because they reach 100 pitches? They're the best player you have. You never take them out of the game. You want to go 9 innings with these guys every time they pitch. Let them build their arm strength. I would make 125, or I wouldn't even have a pitch count. Because if they're winners, they want to win. They're not coming out of the game. Jack Morris, you think you could have pulled him out? You think you could have pulled Sandy Koufax, Bob Gibson out of the game? That ain't happening because they get paid on wins. So the incentive's there to win the games, and the incentive is there, and they're not coming out of the game. They're not. You couldn't get them out. You're going to get Bob Gibson out of the game, he'd tell you to fuck off. No way you're doing that. So, the real competitive pitcher, Jack Morris, who you want on your team are the winners. You don't pull them out of you don't pull Joe Montana out of the game. You don't pull Mahomes out of the game. Well, Mahomes, you've thrown 40 passes. We know you get tired in the fourth quarter. We're gonna bring in Joe Blow here from Central Colorado to finish the game up. Why would you take your best player out? You want your best player with the ball at the end of the game to win the game because they want to win. You are pulling your best players out, but you're not even giving the guy who comes in's not any good. There's no good relievers. That one guy in Cleveland who bet on himself, okay. Shotani, who bet on himself, okay, but Shotani's not that good anyway. Again, he shouldn't be pitching and playing the field. That's absolutely, totally ridiculous. If it wasn't good enough for Babe Ruth, it's not the smart thing to do. You can't do it because pitching takes a lot out of you. You either are a pitcher or you're a fielder. I want a guy like Babe Ruth. I want him in the field. I want his bat every day. He's going to hit me 60 homers and 715 and everything. Hi, David. How are you this morning? I'm doing a couple videos, so I just was in the mood now. So the managers are clueless. They pull their stars. Why are they pulling their stars? And then how are we supposed to bet it? We bet Scanes. Okay, you get them for 6 innings, and then you got to rely on the bullpen. Yesterday, Arizona ties the game at 5-5. And then the guy they put in, then it goes to extra innings, and I can't play a reliever more than 1 inning. So I end up with a guy with a 9 ERA in the 11th inning, and he gives up 5 runs, and we lose the game. Is the guy's arm really going to fall off if the other reliever pitches 2 innings? Oh, he can't pitch 25 pitches. No, I mean, that's just too much. He might get hurt. See, this whole mentality, it's all socialism. The whole mentality, oh, they might get hurt. What is that? This is sports. You're getting more pitchers hurt. The Tigers lost another guy, this Rusty Olson, and they lost Joby and, you know, 2 or 3 other pitchers. They're hurt. Well, wait a minute. I thought you're pitching them every fifth day, 90 pitches. How could they get hurt? Obviously, that's not the point. That doesn't make them not get hurt. But when the guy's hot and the guy's pitching a good guy, hey, when the guy's on a no-hitter and you pull him, or the guy's on a one-hitter. Last week, the Tigers had Joe Flaherty pitching, and he's pitching the game of his life, way over his head against Philadelphia, giving up like 1 hit. And of course, oh, wait, you're at 95 pitches. We got to take you out. They couldn't hit him. They bring in the reliever. Boom, boom, boom. They lose 5-4. What's the manager doing? Is he playing to win, or is he playing not to get guys hurt, but the guys are getting hurt anyway? It's just clueless managing. These guys are idiots. I watched Earl Weaver, and I watched Sparky Anderson, and I watched the good managers. And you play to win, and you keep your best players. You bet your best hitters are your first and second hitter, and your best pitchers play the whole game. I never pulled my best pitcher in fast pitch, right, in softball. I never pulled her. One time I pulled her because she kept walking everybody. She was playing against her friends, and she was focused on her friends, and she kept throwing balls. And so I had to take her out. But basically, you play your best players to win. You're managing to win. This guy's not managing to win. He's just pulling shit out of his ass where, oh, I'll pinch hit a lefty for a righty. I'll play Happy Baez, who hits a 200 hitter, and oh, he's hot. And then he sits him out, and you're like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, it's a very minor league team the Tigers have. People get hot. They got a lot of left-handed hitters, and they can. And the pitchers they face are terrible. Somebody hit a home run the other day, and the ball is like right down the middle. I could hit a home run on that. I mean, what's the ball just goes right down the middle, and the guy hits it out. You're like, where's the curveball? Where's the slider? Where's the fastball that breaks? You don't just throw a ball straight down the middle. That's how bad the pitchers are. And then the Tigers hit a home run, and well, look, he's the greatest hitter. Yeah, he's playing against a guy with a 15 ERA. Yeah, that shouldn't even be in Little League, shouldn't even be in high school ball. But he can throw 95. Yeah, but his arm's going to break. So they really don't know what they're doing. A chimp could basically be managing the Tigers. Okay, Joey at 95, go out and pull the pitcher. And here's a banana. And if a righty comes out, if there's a right-handed pitcher, put the lefty in. If there's a lefty pitcher come out, put the righty in. Yeah, a chimp could do that. And that's what he's doing. He's pulling guys hitting 280 for guys hitting 150. Why the guy hitting 150 is on the team, beyond me. Why the pitchers with the high ERAs are on the team, beyond me. Oh, they're getting hurt. Why are they getting hurt? And this is the problem. You need to toughen the pitcher up. The pitcher should be able to pitch 150 pitches. He should build his arm up. I mean, I know that's what they used to do in the 60s. You'd have to build your arm up. You'd have to throw the ball far and heavy balls, and you would have to get your legs in shape, and you'd have to be able to throw 125, 150 pitches. You're not getting pulled unless it was rally fingers or who's the other guys? Goose Gossage or people like that. You're the starting pitcher's going all 9 because we're trying to win, and he's done anyway. I can't use him for 4 days, so he's going to pitch today. That's the whole point of it. Anyway, and football's getting even worse. Oh, we got to go with they're not as bad on injuries, but strategy. We have to go on fourth down. Again, send the monkey out there and say, yeah, it's fourth down. We go for it. Well, it's 4th and 10, monkey. I don't know. It's fourth down. I got to go for it because I can't punt the ball to the inside the 10 and play field position because my defense apparently sucks. And that's the part of the game that's missing. As all my beloved Raider fans on here know, Ray Guy would punt the ball coffin corner inside the 5 every time, and then you'd have a long field, and they had a good defense. Not a great defense. They didn't have a Steeler defense, but they had a good defense. Jack Tatum would rough everybody up. But that's okay. That's like playing chess. You play field position. You don't take a risk at your own 45, because if you miss, you give the team the ball at the 45. I would say the Lions, at their own 30, they're going for it because they're so confident they're going to run behind Penei Sewell like he's some sort of Greek god that he just blocks everybody. It's such bullshit. He doesn't block everybody. He does allow sacks. Oh, he's never allowed a sack. Bullshit. I've seen sacks, and the guy comes in and now we won't credit it to him. We'll make him look like he doesn't have a sack, and it's just really ridiculous. The fourth down to go for 2-point conversions. It's all idiots. These are idiots. This is why there's so many fired coaches every year. Does it give you a win if you go for it on fourth down? It gives you more losses than wins, right? Because if you fail, the other team gets the ball at the 30 or 40-yard line, you've given up field position, you've given up momentum. You're fucked. And this is the problem. You're not really thinking if I don't make it. You're only seeing it. And then the best part of the fourth down, well, wait a minute. Philly does the push tush, the tush push, whatever you want to call it, the rugby play. Now, if I was the other teams, I would do the same thing, and I would line up a tight end, and I'd have 2 big guys pushing them from the back. That's really what it is. It's not really the linemen. It's the guys in the back. The quarterback kind of goes to a hole and they push him. And the defense isn't smart enough to have 2 or 3 guys behind the line, let the linemen fight. And then when the quarterback starts to run, then they attack the quarterback. They've been 3 or 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. But that's probably 70-80% of the fourth down conversions is Philadelphia or Buffalo with Josh Allen running around in. So if you don't have those 2 guys and you don't have those 2 plays, it's probably 10 or 20% you're going to get a fourth down. The Lions run behind Sewell. Well, it's pretty obvious, but they miss a lot and in crucial times, like this 49er game. Instead of going to the Super Bowl, which they easily had, kick your field goals, you're in the Super Bowl. No, you give up momentum. You take a 17-point halftime lead, and it's tied middle of the third quarter. What is that? That's terrible coaching because he didn't understand the concept of if I go for it and miss, it's momentum, and momentum's huge in football. Except for Gary Danielson, everybody knows that. He doesn't believe there is. This is why he's an idiot. So that's really what you're looking at is the smart coach understands he's trying to play to win, and he's going to, he understands I got to punt the ball and not go for the 4th and 3 at my own 40. Somebody did that. It was a Viking game, I think against San Diego or the Rams. They fired the coach like 3 games later because he had the ball. I think it was San Diego. He has the ball at his own 25, and it's 4th and 1. And instead of punting, he goes for it. And, of course, he doesn't make it. Is this what kind of coach? How stupid is this coach? Oh, we'll make it because look at the algorithm says we'll make it 85% of the time or 65%. Yeah, if you're on the Bush Tush or the Josh Allen. But if you don't, you got about 5% chance, especially at your own 25, and you're winning the game. They were up 4 points. So Minnesota had to score a touchdown. But They had Kirk Cousins, so that wasn't going to happen. Anyway, so that's what's going on. So this is why the coaches are idiots, because they don't understand the game. They don't understand the strategy. They miss the point of their own players. They're worried about safety. The whole league with the kickoff. What is that? I was watching a playoff game, an older one, and the guy runs the kickoff back for a touchdown. You can't even do that now. What are they doing? They're killing the game. It's very almost unwatchable. All the commercials, all the let's review the play. That's taking 5 minutes. I mean, you can go to a movie and come back and you're not missing anything. Then they never really show you what the call was. All right. So let's do baseball. So the 49ers and the Steelers, good football game. Robbie Ray against Andrew Heaney. Sorry, Luke, you're not getting Skeens today. Ray's the better pitcher. Who knows who's the better manager? Probably a low-scoring game, but I'm not going to bet it. The total is 8. Frisco 150 and 8. Baltimore at Philly. Philly, it's a good game. 175 and 8. Trevor Rogers 4-2, a 144, and it is real. Ranger Suarez, our Ranger, 8-4 at the 268. Normally, I'd be all over Philly with Ranger, but I got a 144 pitcher. I'm going under Philly under 8, and I'm going 5 units on it. That's a big bet. Cleveland and the Mets. I'm letting this go. The Mets 175, 7.5. Gavin Williams 6-4 at the 333 against David Peterson. 7-4 at the 283. Another under game, but the total 7.5. Probably being under, but I'm just going to lay away. Minnesota and Detroit. I don't have pitchers. Detroit's 185 and 8. And I don't think it'll be Skubal because I don't think it's his turn. So I like the over in the game if it's not Skubal. If it is Skubal, then and I think it would be a higher. I do like the over because Minnesota scored 6 yesterday. Detroit seemed to be hitting. They got 6-3. So I think should be a higher scoring game. The Reds and the Cubs. Cubs 135, 7.5. Andrew Abbott 8-1 with the 215. Cade Horton 5-3 with the 342. We're taking Cincinnati under 8. Andrew Abbott 8-1 with the 215 is legit, and Cade Horton 5-3 with the 342. So we will take Cincinnati under here. Abbott last game, I bet him and he lost. So I don't know, but he is 8-1 with the 215, so he's a good pitcher. The Yanks at Texas, Yanks 135 and 8. Carlos Rodon 11-7, 334 against Jack Leiter 7-6, 410. The Yankees are on another 5 or 6 game losing streak, so we were going to go with Texas and Jack Leiter. Now I think Aaron Judge is back today. I'm not sure. We will find out when we look at the lineups. Toronto at Colorado. Toronto 220, 11.5. Kevin Gausman 7-8 with the 399. Kyle Freeland 2-11 with the 526. It's an over game, but 11.5 is just too many. It's like a 75 in college football. It's just too high. Tampa Bay, California. Tampa Bay 120-9. Shane Baez 8-8 with the 479. Tyler Anderson 2-7 with the 449. I can't bet on either of these bums. So I'm just going to pass. St. Louis at the Dodgers. The Dodgers 229.5. Matthew Liberatore 6-9 with the 396. Shotani 0-0 with the 240. He'll give you 2 innings, and then it's the bullpen, and I have no idea what to do with that. So, again, why is he pitching? And if he can pitch, then he should be pitching 7-8 innings. He shouldn't be pitching 2. So it's really confusing what the Dodgers are doing. It's like if he needs to go on assignment, send him to the minor leagues and let him pitch every couple days, 3, 4, 5 innings. Get him up. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing? Pitching him an inning, 2 innings. Houston at Miami. Miami 120-8. They were hot. Houston just beat them. Spencer Arrighetti, we remember him from last year, is just coming back. 1-1 with the 5.59 against Jason the Anvil Junk. 5-2 with the 3.86. He's pretty good, but I'm going to lay away. Again, why did Arrighetti get hurt? I mean, he's pitching every fifth day, and he's only pitching 90 pitches. Why is he getting hurt? These managers are so fucking stupid. Oakland, Washington. Oakland 135 and 8.5. The game's at Washington. Jeffrey Springs 10-7 with a 4 ERA. Cade Cavelli 0-0 with an 0.00. We are taking Washington's on a 7-game losing streak, so we're going to take Oakland, and we're going to go Oakland over 8.5 also, because they put up 16 yesterday. Them in Baltimore, like, all of a sudden put up, I think Washington too, they put up like 15, 16 runs. They're so happy to get a bad pitcher that the whole team hits. I'm going to go over here also, 8.5. KC, Boston. Boston's on a win streak. We're going to take them. Michael Wakaka, 5-9 with a 3.38. Dustin May, 6-7 with the 4.85. We won with Crochet yesterday with Boston. And again, Waka with the 3.38, but he's 5-9. Bad managing, because this guy should be pitching at least 8 innings a game. You should not be looking at pitch count with these more veteran guys, and you should be building them up to throw 150 pitches in a game. And it should be every 4 days, because if I wait 5 days, I don't have 4 other pitchers that are any good, and my pitchers in the bullpen, I cannot consistently for 162 games pitch my better pitchers every 5th day, 6 innings, and go to my bullpen. And then I got to take a 7th inning guy, an 8th inning guy, and a 9th inning guy. I don't have that many good pitchers in my bullpen. Anyway, look at the trade deadline. Everybody wanted bullpen help. Why? Because you're pitching way out too much, and they all suck. You have a few. You don't have a Raleigh Fingers. You don't have a Dennis Eckersley. So what the fuck? Who do you got there? So it's really bad. So we're taking Boston on the win streak. Milwaukee, Atlanta. Milwaukee on another 5-game winning streak. They're really hot. Atlanta's 135 and 8. Hard to believe. Jose Quintana 8-4 with the 350 against Spencer Strider 5-8 with the 3.7. We're taking Milwaukee there on the win streak, and that's 3 units. San Diego, Arizona. San Diego's got a lot of hitting. They got Manny Machado back, and the shortstop from Boston back. Neston Cortez 1-1 with a 9 ERA against Anthony Descalfani. 1-2 with the 4.91s. I can't play this game. Again, they scored 5 runs in the 11th inning to win it. It was 5-5. I don't know what to do. Arizona played so bad against the Tigers. Then they got hot, and now San Diego beat them. So I'm just leaving it alone. And the last game, the White Sox, Seattle 257.5. Jonathan Cannon, 4-8 with the 4.77, goes against George Kirby, 6-5 with the 4.13. No thanks. So our plays are Philly under 8 with the Ranger against the Ranger against Trevor Rogers with a 1.44 ERA. So that's a 5-star. That's the play of the day. Philly under 8. They pitched good against the Tigers. And they didn't hit, and they hit a little bit, but not like you thought. Minnesota over 8 in the Tiger game for 2 units. Cincinnati under 8 for 2 units. Oakland over 8.5, 2 units. And Oakland. And then Boston, 2 units. Texas, 2 units. Milwaukee, 3 units. Boston and Milwaukee are on 5-6 game winning streaks, and we're betting against the Yankees, who are on a 5-game losing streak. So we're kind of watching the streaks. Like Boston and Milwaukee, I'm playing just because of the streak, not the pitcher. The other games I'm pitching because of the pitcher, and then the Tigers, they don't have the pitchers listed. All right, let's go to the NFL and look at the preseason. And now we're aware of several things. We have Richardson starting for Indy. Baltimore, and Indy's now a 5.5 point favorite, 36.5 over Baltimore. Baltimore usually tries in the preseason. Richardson's been hurt. bad shoulder. He's playing. Okay, I don't get it, but all right. He's terrible. Cincy, Philadelphia. Cincy 6.5, 37.5. And Joe Burrow is starting. That means Chase is starting. Philly, will they go to Hurts? I don't know. But since he's going to Burrow, what does it really tell you? The underlying is that Cincinnati's pissed they lost their first 3 games. They didn't play anybody in the preseason. I think Burrow was still a little shaken up. They are pissed and they are focused. This is what you read into it. If they're going to play in the preseason and risk Joe Burrow, they are serious. They want to get off to a good start. I think they killed Cleveland in week 1. And here they are against Philadelphia, and not a problem. Here comes Joe Burrow and Chase. So watch Cincinnati this year. They will beat Baltimore for the title. Hutchinson's back, and the guy they drafted is there, and they had a fairly good defense. I mean, Hendrickson had 17.5 sacks or whatever. He's a monster, and you pair him with Burrow and Chase, and look out for Cincinnati. So I've changed my pick to Cincinnati with Oakland. Oakland now 4.5, 36.5 over Seattle. We've already played Oakland. We played them we got 7.5 with Oakland. We will see Coach Pete and everything else, but I don't know if Geno Smith will play. We'll see. Their backup's O'Connell or whatever, who's terrible. He's terrible at Purdue. So you watch him at Purdue and he's terrible, and you go, I'm going to draft that guy. Why? Well, he'll be better in the pro. Oh, he's going to be better in the pros than in college. Oh, okay. And did you fire your GM yet? Cleveland, Carolina. Carolina's now a 6.5 point favorite, 32.5 total. Prime Jr. starting. No, not because of him winning the job. They don't need to play Flacco. Pickett has a pulled hamstring. And then apparently, and I don't believe this, Dylan Gabriel was like 3 of 18 in a practice. Like he couldn't hit anybody. And I don't understand that. I think it was 2 against 2s. I think there's probably a lot of drop balls. I watched Dylan Gabriel at Oregon. He's not 3 of 18. He's 16 of 18. So I don't know if this is fixed so Prime Jr. can start or not. I love Carolina in the game if they had a team, but they don't. So I'm laying away from this. Now, my bet was Oakland with Cleveland. I'm now changing it to Oakland with Cincinnati. I'll take Cincinnati even with Joe Burrow, and I'm not fucking around with Cleveland with Prime Jr. This is why you got to wait till the week of the game to really bet it. Yeah, we could bet the Baltimore Buffalo over week 1, but what if somebody gets hurt? So we wait till that week to make the bet. But I love Carolina here, and Bryce Young's terrible. He's worse than Prime Jr., but I cannot bet on. We'll see how bad Prime Jr. is. We'll see if Carolina blitzes him, but he's terrible. And we'll look at that. But right now, I can't play Carolina, but I can't play Cleveland. You can't bet on Prime Jr. He's terrible. Detroit at Atlanta, Detroit 3.5, 32.5. They won't play anybody because they might get hurt. And somebody was saying how Detroit's better because they get all their injured guys back. And I no, they don't. A lot of the injured guys are not back, including Hutchinson. If you think he's playing before October, you're out of your mind. And the rest of the defense sucks anyway. So I'm not buying that. I don't buy they're better because of the defense, because you lose both quarterbacks. And look what happened to Philly after they won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, and then their coordinators, or maybe the KC beat Philly, but Philly was in the Super Bowl, and the next year I think they won, and then their coordinators went on, and then they were shit the 2 years ago, and then last year they brought in 2 different coordinators. The Lions are doing the same thing. They're bringing in these coordinators that have never coordinated before. I don't understand the coach. Everybody thinks he's such a great coach. How do you hire an offensive coordinator that's never coordinated before and a defensive coordinator that's never coordinated before? They were like line coaches, but there's a big difference running the defense and looking at the tight ends or the linebackers or something. I still question Dan Campbell's ability with clock management, going for fourth down strategy, defense. I question all of it. It's not very good. He's just lucky he's got a good offense. But again, everybody loves the GM. I don't love the GM. He could have gotten all these Georgia players and he didn't take them on defense. So he's got a good offense, but you're not winning with offense. You win with defense. So I don't smell what he's cooking. I like the game over. Detroit's defense is horrendous. Atlanta should light them up. I don't think Penix will play, but maybe he will. And then they'll go to their backups. I think Kirk Cousins will probably play. So 32.5, I like the game over. Washington, New England, I don't think Daniels will play. I don't think Drake May's playing. I haven't heard that as of yet. Today's Wednesday. These games are Friday. We'll keep our eyes open, but at this point, we know Prime Jr. is playing. We know Joe Burrow is playing. I think there was one other. We'll get that. I'll go through the news. So Washington, New England. Regular year, it's an easy take Washington. Now, New England's favored by 6.5. I don't get it. I don't know who the backups are yet. So that's what we're going to look at is the box scores of this week to see who the backups are. Because there's good backups you can bet on, like Kyle Trask at Tampa. The Giants in Buffalo, nothing. Giants are 1.5, 37.5. Really? So who's Josh Allen's backup? And then who's quarterbacking? Is Danny DeVito? See, here's where the Giants have an advantage. Danny DeVito has played a lot. If it isn't him, it's Winston or whatever. So you got guys that have played. They're not good, but they've played before. Buffalo, it's all Josh Allen. He's not going to play. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd take Giants as a favorite over, Kentucky or anything. Houston, Minnesota, mini -3, 38.5. J.J. McCarthy needs to play. He's never taken a snap in a regular season NFL game. You're making him the starter. It was a huge mistake. Does Minnesota have a good team? I don't know. Can the coach spot quarterback talent? I question that. He had Kirk Cousins for 4 or 5 years, losing playoff games at home to the Giants, winning games on the last possession because he had Justin Jefferson. Is the coach really good at quarterback talent? I say no. Then he had Darnold, who played, 100 feet over his head. And now you're going with J.J. McCarthy, and you could have had Aaron Rodgers. I question that. With Rodgers, they probably win the Super Bowl this year. With McCarthy, they'll be lucky to win 5 or 6 games. I mean, he's going to have a lot of turnovers. I would bet he's going to get hurt. He missed his first year at Michigan with a knee injury. Then in the playoffs, when they played Georgia, he was injured. And then against Penn State, he was injured. And last year, he hurt his knee. So I don't know if he's played a full year or not. Very injury prone. They like him because he's a mobile quarterback, but can he throw? I would never have made this guy a first-round draft pick. He'd be 3rd or 4th round. So Minnesota is not going to be that good because their quarterback sucks. They got Justin Jefferson. Can he throw the ball to him? Is he going to be out there long? Who's their backup? Because he's not going to finish the year. Give him 4 or 5 games and he'll be hurt again. But Houston, I'm not going to take. So we'll leave that alone. This would probably be an under in the regular season. Pitt at Jacksonville 3, 35.5. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to quarter. I doubt it. We hope Trevor Lawrence, then we bet Pittsburgh. So I'm going to leave this game alone. Dallas at the Rams. I don't know who is who the Rams backup is. I think it's that guy that sucks. I don't know if it's Carson Wentz or no, the other guy who was on New England, right? So I think he's going to be the quarterback in Dallas. Who knows? Prescott's terrible if he did play. So again, I'll leave this game alone. Dallas 2.5, 33. Unless we hear Prescott's going to start. If you hear a regular guy starting like a Joe Burrow, you want to go. Richardson for Indy, yeah, he'll play 2 series. That's it. Then they get to go to to Daniel Jones, the all pro. Can't complete a pass. Tennessee at Tampa. Tennessee 3.5, 32.5. I like Tampa here because I like I like Kyle Trask. He was great at Florida. He was like third in the Heisman Trophy voting. He gets to Tampa, and there's Brady, and now the Baker's there. He's a very good quarterback, Trask. If I was Minnesota, I would get Trask. He's much better than McCarthy. And then they could actually win with Trask. Very good quarterback, good arm. So I like Tampa as a dog because I don't know. I doubt Cam Ward's starting. I don't know why Tennessee's any better than Tampa. It's at Tampa. KC, Arizona, 1.5, 38.5. Don't be surprised if Mahomes plays. Mahomes plays in the preseason. That's why they win Super Bowls, because they want to get better. They're not worried about injury. I call it the mindset. When you keep talking about injuries, and I don't want to get players hurt, when they play, they're trying to not get hurt instead of trying to tackle and catch and block and run. And I think that's the problem. It's the big problem with the Lions. They're all not trying to get hurt, and then the whole team gets hurt, and they're crying, well, our defense was hurt. Yeah, because you didn't play them in the preseason. Play them in the preseason. Let them get their legs down. Okay. So just be careful. I wouldn't bet Arizona here because Mahomes normally plays in these games, a series or two, but that's a touchdown, right? The Jets at Green Bay 2.5, 36.5. Even if Fields plays, he's terrible. So I don't know what the Jets are going to do. Green Bay, Love, and then I don't know who's after him. Green Bay laying 2.5 might be a good play, but we don't know enough. Denver at San Francisco. Now, here's a stat I heard listening on the radio yesterday. There was like an NFL scout, and he's like me. He picked Daniels, and he picked Penix, and he picked Bo Nix, and he loves Bo Nix. And he says the way you draft a quarterback in college is by the sacks. They all had low sacks ratings, right? I think Bo Nix only got sacked 6 times in that. And he says that they can read the defense. It shows you they can read the defense, and it shows you they get rid of the ball quickly before being sacked, which is what you want. And then you go to Caleb, sacked like 30 times, and then you go to Prime Junior, sacked 54 times. And it shows you he can't read a defense. He doesn't know what he's doing. So don't be betting on Prime Junior for Rookie of the Year. Stupid. So this is a very good game. Denver's laying 6. So I don't know what's going on there. Would be Purdy against Bo Nix, but I think Bo Nix is better. I love Bo Nix. I don't know why people have he's so old. He's 25. What do you the other guys are at least 22, 23 now. So I don't know why age doesn't matter. It's like dating a girl. Why age doesn't matter? I don't understand it. Miami and the Bears. The Bears 32.5. I don't know who's going to quarter. And then the last game, New Orleans and San Diego. New Orleans is a 1. I do like San Diego here. They played well. New Orleans really is terribly coached, and I don't like Spencer Rattler. I like Hayner. And Tyler I wasn't that impressed in college. He was Texas Tech's quarterback, and somebody beat him out. So I don't know how good he is at Louisville. He got beat by Notre Dame. I don't think that's any good. So here's my picks. I got Oakland plus 7.5 and Cincinnati even. That's my first teaser. I got Detroit over 26.5 and the Rams plus 8.5. And I got Tampa Bay plus 7.5 and San Diego plus 9.5. Those were bet earlier in the week. I did change Cleveland for Cincinnati because I'm not betting on Prime Junior, and Joe Burrow's playing. I'm not going to play Indy, even though Richardson's starting, because he's not that good anyway. Daniel Jones gets to start next year. We get to bet against Daniel Jones next week. So the key is watching the defense, watching what's going on, who's the backups, right? Because preseason is about betting the backups. That's what you're trying to do. And that's what we're going. So, just enjoy, well, if you can. Mostly there's 2 Sunday games, Miami and the Bears, and they're both on the NFL Network, which apparently goes away where it's going to be on the ESPN. I guess they sold to ESPN, gave a higher bid than the NFL Network. And that's why Disney stock's so high, because nobody is going to Disney. It's like $150 a ticket. Nobody's going there. So what's happening is they're the movies, and then they're buying the NFL package. So instead of being on an NFL Network, it'll be on ESPN. Simple as that. So a lot of Saturday games. I don't really see what network they're on. The Jets and Green Bay are on the NFL Network. Why? I don't know. It doesn't say. There's a lot of games Saturday. And Friday, Detroit, Atlanta, Washington, New England, Cleveland at Carolina. Why would that be on the NFL Network? So we can watch Prime Junior? Yeah, not worth it. Thursday, Oakland, Seattle, Cincy, Philly, and Indy, Baltimore. So we got 3 games tomorrow, then Friday, and then a lot on Saturday and a couple on Sunday. All right. Any other news? It should tell us if any new players. So Anthony Richardson starting. Stafford's having some sort of back surgery, but I don't think it's a big back surgery. He had it there. Prime Junior to start. Now, look how Stafford holds the ball, right? Right at his ear, ready to go. Look how Prime Junior holds the ball. So he's got to pick it up and then throw it. And this is why he sucks. Stafford, Prime Junior. And that tells you all you need to know. He doesn't even know how to throw the ball. It's an aggravated disc in the back of Stafford, so he'll have some sort of surgery, I guess. Jerry Jones did not respond to Micah Parsons' trade request. Of course not. NFL bans smelling salts. Why? Real. This is what they got to worry about, them, and let's not have kickoffs anymore. So basically, I would think we're going to see my guy from Oregon, Dylan Gabriel. I can't believe he's that bad. He played too well at Oregon that he's, supposedly 3 of 17, unless it was fixed and he missed, or the receivers dropped a lot of balls. I think it was 2-on-2, so he probably wasn't ready for what he got. All right, let's go into MAC football. I've been waiting to get to this. All right, so the MAC. Who the hell is the MAC? It's Toledo. Now, this is kind of in order from what Lindy's saying. Toledo, Buffalo, Ohio, Miami of Ohio, Central Michigan, Western Michigan, Northern Illinois, Eastern Michigan, Akron, Ball State, Bowling Green, UMass, and Kent State. If we look who's the quarterbacks back, Tucker Gleason's back with Toledo. Ohio has Parker Navarro. DeQuan Finn was at Toledo, is now at Miami of Ohio. Western has no quarterback at all. He's new. Eastern quarterback question. Akron, a Z team. Ball State, a lot of changes. Bowling Green has Eddie George from the Ohio State as their coach. UMass, the Z team, and Kent State's a Z team. So let's quickly look at it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. So Toledo, let's go through the quarterback. So I have that up. So pardon me, I'll be on my other page looking at our MAC quarterbacks. All right, let's go to the MAC. All right, so I'm going to read my notes. So last year, the top scoring team was Western Michigan, 29.4, and then Buffalo, Ohio in the 29s. Bowling Green and Toledo were in the 26s. Eastern and Ball State 25, Northern Illinois 24, Miami of Ohio Central 22, Akron at 20, UMass at 22, and Kent State 14 points a game. What has changed? All right, a new coach for Western, Taylor, and Lowry will be the quarterback from Indiana. A lot of returners. So Western, we'll see. Again, there's a lot of new coaches. Buffalo, they got Robertson from Kansas State will be their quarterback. Lembo, pretty good coach. We will see. They were 29 and 28 last year. Ohio, Parker Navarro back, 13 touchdowns and 11 picks, 18 sacks. And they got a new coach, Smith, who is first time coaching, but I think he's okay. I think it was like their offensive coordinator or something, but it's his first time coaching. Bowling Green's going to start Drew Pine from Notre Dame, who was there a little, and then we didn't hear from him. Eddie George will be the coach. So they scored 26 and gave up 20 last year. That's meaningless. That's the problem. It's these changes that now you have no data and you can't just assume. Toledo, 26 and 21 last year. Tucker Gleason is 24 and 8 last year with 14 sacks. A lot of transfers left. They passed for 234, run for 119 last year, so it shows you what type of team they are. Pretty good balanced offense. Eastern Michigan, Kim from MSU will be their quarterback. No new coach, so they're a pretty well coached team. They were 25 and 27 last year, scoring offense, defense. Ball State has Kelly, a dual quarterback, which means can he throw? He's a good runner. New coach in Neuromovich. Strong offense before, so Ball State scored 25, gave up 40 last year. So their defense is going to suck, but this guy might have a little better offense, which will help the defense because they can ball control it a little bit more. So probably a lot of overs here on Ball State. We'll keep an eye on that. Northern Illinois, 24 and 18, usually a good defense. The coach is the same. Josh Holst, I don't know if he's the quarterback. 2 and 2 last year, touchdowns to picks. We'll see. Again, it's like incomplete, especially in the MAC. We got to be careful, but we'll find our A and our Z's. Central Michigan, they had the coach from Florida, and he's gone. 22 and 29, so they don't have a good defense. They had a decent offense. Joe Labas was the quarterback, 7 and 7 last year. Drinkall is the new coach, his first time ever. So we got a coach that does he know how to coach? This we'll have to see. Akron scored 20 and gave up 32. Here's the Z teams. Ben Finley, 16 touchdowns, 9 picks, and a new coach in Moorhead. UMass, the Z team, scores 22, gives up 35. Their quarterback is Jordan from Yale. Harris Misk is the new coach. Good luck with that. Kent State, the other Z team, scored 13, gave up 44. Montez from Florida, from Fordham, is the new quarterback. And Art Carney is his first coaching gig. So you have 2 brand new coaches, Smith from Ohio, Kearney at Kent State. Good luck there. Oh, and Drinkle. You got 3 first-time head coaches. What is going on that you're hiring coaches that have never coached before? If you're leaving a comment, I'll get to it shortly. They've never coached before. So it's just like Ben Johnson at the Bears. He's never coached before. Being an offensive coordinator, look at Steve Spagnuolo, right? He with the Giants, he beat Tom Brady with the pressure. So his gig is put pressure on the quarterback and they'll fall. But he couldn't coach. He was not a good coach. I don't know if he was, I think, Philadelphia's coach or the Giants coach, but he couldn't coach. But he's a great defensive coordinator. And that's always the problem. Ben Johnson, good offensive coordinator, not great. He had the running attack and the line and the receivers. So a monkey could have been the offensive coordinator. So you probably, I don't know. I'm surprised they got 7 points last week. So I'm a little concerned with that. All right. So let's go through this. I'll look at the overview. So pretty good coach, 73 and 40, Candle in 10 years. So it's consistent. Overview, one of the best and most consistent programs in the MAC in recent years. Toledo figures to be in the hunt for the MAC title again. The offense should be explosive and the defense can be among the league's best. That doesn't say a lot in that league. If the 15 transfers welcomed in by the program can be impactful. So here's where the variable comes in, is all these transfers. More in the MAC, because anybody who's any good transfers out, and then they need, I don't know where they're getting them, division. They're getting them from Yale and Fordham. So good luck on that. Buffalo, they got Tyquan Robertson, the Kansas State quarterback. Don't know how good he is, but he's from Kansas State. Pat Lemo at Buffalo, 9-4 in 1 year, but he's 42, 33 in 6 years, so he's not a bad coach. Buffalo had an incredible turnaround last season, and Pete Lembo's first year going 9-4. This is why we have to understand the new coach. As I say, the new quarterback, is he Joe Montana or Bill Montana? And that's what you don't know. We see it in baseball all the time. And the pitcher, 0-0 with a 0.00 ERA. Is he a good pitcher or a bad pitcher? That's why we need data, and then let the data talk. Oh, he's pitched 10 games, like the guy on Atlanta. He's pitched 10 games. He's got a 2.14 ERA. Okay, he must be a good pitcher. He's got to get his lumps and be good in games and be clutch and know how to win. And that's what the managers are taking away. Oh, no, you pitched 80 pitches, and here comes the meat of the order. We're going to take you out. Let him pitch that. Let him learn how to pitch in that situation. So Buffalo can compete for a MAC championship, but they need a quarterback. So is Tyquan Robertson. We'll have to keep an eye on. So Buffalo could be okay if the quarterback's good, but he didn't do much at Kansas State. That's why he's at Buffalo. Ohio, good head coach, good quarterback. Okay, so this Smith on his first year, I'm going to put a note that he's good. So even though it's his first time, he's good. Good coach, good quarterback. Well, Peter Navarro was 13-11, 18 sacks. I don't know how good he is. They did score 30 a game. But he is a senior. So, okay. Consecutive 11-win seasons along with 2024 MAC champion made the Bobcats an attractive program for other schools. Tim Elvin accepted the head coaching job at Charlotte. So now when we look at Charlotte, they have the Ohio coach who's pretty good. So Charlotte should be improved. Brian Smith, who had been with the Bobcats for 3 seasons, including as an associate head coach and offensive coordinator. So because he was the associate head coach, I'm saying he's a good coach because he's basically been a head coach, just not officially. Miami of Ohio, DeQuan Finn, who went from Toledo, where he was very good. Then he went, where did he go? He went to Baylor, and he played the first couple of games. He sucked, and that was it. And now he's back to the MAC. So I don't know how good DeQuan Finn is. He is a dual threat, more run than pass, obviously. The Red Hawks have several new faces that might make this a challenging year for the coaching staff. Watch for the road game. And they play Wisconsin and Rutgers. So this will be interesting in the beginning. Central goes to Matt Drinkall, who's never coached before. Drinkall replaced Jim McElwain. Yeah, he was at Colorado State, did well, went to Florida, and he sucked. Who retired at the end of this year. Drinkall spent last 6 years as offensive line coach. So he's got the flavor of Central. We don't know how good he is, but see, that's what you usually do is you're taking these line coaches, to me, doesn't know how to coach. If he's the offensive defensive coordinator, maybe, but still, I want somebody who's coached before. But Central's that. So I see a week D. I got Army coach. Who's the Army coach? Okay. He was so this head coach, Drinkall, as well as a co-offensive coordinator on the Army staff. So give him credit there because we love Army. So he might be okay. We will see. It's a baptism by fire for the staff. CMU opens with 3 non-conference games. So they open at San Jose State, which is Navy, Pittsburgh, and Michigan. Those are 3 tough games, but it'll help them. Then they get Wagner in Eastern Michigan. Joe Lavis last year on Central was 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 8 sacks. Dual quarterback, so we'll see. Kind of a weak defense last year, giving up 30 a game, but we don't know because of the new coach. But he's more of an offensive coach. So Central's probably maybe be a little bit more of an over team if they can score more because their defense will suck. Western Michigan, I got weak defense. Quarterback's a question mark. Brock Lowry is a sophomore who's never played. Taylor, second season as head coach, started well at Western. The Broncos safe from that point. Bowl lost to South Alabama. How well their transfers pan out. Early so they got Michigan State and Illinois. Yeah, so that really doesn't help me that. So they open at Michigan State with a sophomore quarterback. Yeah, good luck there. So they're not. Lance Taylor is 10-15 in his third year as coach. I don't know. They gave up 31 a game, so bad defense. Northern Illinois, Josh Holst, another sophomore quarterback. Don't know where he's from. He had two touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 6 sacks in probably 1 or 2 games. So he has seen some action. The head coach is 32, 38 in 6 years. They open at Holy Cross. They did beat Notre Dame on my call, so they're still like, hey, we beat Notre Dame. So look for them. Look for them to have a decent year. We'll see. Eastern goes to a new quarterback, Noah Kim from MSU, Michigan State. Weak defense, give up 28. Creighton is 57-75 in 11 years there. They sucked before. He's not a bad coach. He's 196 and 118, 28 years. So he's an experienced coach, but they gave up 28. Max Crosby announced his decision to serve as the assistant general manager. So what's he going to shuffle Raider players there and back and forth? I didn't even know Max Crosby went to Eastern Michigan. It's not like I go, oh, they got Max Crosby on the team. Sort of like when the Steelers had Jack Lambert at, I think it was Kent State. You never heard it. You didn't know who he was. 24 new players entered the program to infuse fresh talent. So Eastern is a mystery with the new quarterback, good coach, weak defense. Akron, the Zippers. Joe Moorhead, 8-28 in 3 years, a 20 offense and a 32 defense. So this smells like a Z team. Ben Finley is a junior, and he had 16 touchdowns and 9 picks last year, so not too bad. The program made national headlines in early May when Akron was ruled ineligible to compete in the postseason. Well, yeah, they only won 4 games last year, and one was against Colgate. They give up. So this is a perfect Z team for us. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for the Akrons, the Kent States, and we pound against them. Akron opened it up against Wyoming. We'll see how good Wyoming is. Then they go at Nebraska, and there you go. There's your lock at Nebraska, probably an under game. Ball State, Mike Urinovich, first year. He has coached before. He's 56 in 10 years. Not a great head coach. Usemitz has found success at lower levels and places. Winning isn't a birthright. This is one of the tougher gigs in the MAC. Aren't they all tough? There is a sense of energy with the new boss. So they gave up 40 a game. Their quarterback, Kiesel Kelly, is a senior. Let's see. The coach created an explosive offense over 3 years at Butler. So they might score a little bit more. So they could be an over team, right? The 40 defense will still be there, but we'll have to see about that. It appears Khalil Kelly, who started a quarterback for much of 23 before disappearing from the field last year, to the defensive back wide receivers, going back to the quarterback position. So basically he can't throw, and he's probably a good runner on athletes. Watch for them to run an option attack, but they can score more points. Ball State. Kelly, a dual, new coach. And I said strong offense before. So I write my little notes on my spreadsheet. The Bowling Green, good at bowling in Kentucky. 27 offense, 21 defense. Eddie George, first year, 24-22 in 4 years. So he's been coaching somewhere else. Drew Pine is the quarterback from Notre Dame, and he sucked. So we'll see how Bowling Green does with Eddie George, but at least he has coached for 4 years. Oh, he went from Notre Dame to Missouri. Let's see. Doesn't talk about Eddie George. I didn't know he was a football legend. They open at Lafayette, but not Lou Lafayette. And then they go to Cincinnati. Cincinnati will have fun with them. UMass, our Z team, gives up 35 a game, scored 22. Grant Jordan is the new quarterback from Yale. So look out there. The coach is his first year, Hammersmith. Overall 2015 in 3 years. Yeah, he must be a winner to go to Massachusetts. The Z team, and then Kent State, the ultimate Z team, scoring 13, giving up 44. CJ Montez is the new quarterback from Fordham. Really tough. Mark Carney at Kent State, and overall first year. Offensive coordinator Mark Carney was elevated interim head coach. Now, he was the offensive coordinator scoring 14 points a game. Now he's the head coach. Boy, I can hardly wait. All right, so that is MAC football. So it looks like the best team, if we just go here, if we look at the A's, it's going to be Toledo, Buffalo, Ohio, maybe Miami, Ohio. Central could be an over. Western, no quarterback. Northern Illinois, usually a running team and a defense. And then we got our Z teams, Akron, UMass, and Kent State. And that's what we're looking at. You want to know. That's why you have to know the team, and you have to know what are they going to do. So that is your MAC. And now we will only check for messages. And then let's go to our Sunbelt. Now, why are we going over this? Because this is where the money's run. This is what you want to. You want to know Kent State sucks and bet against them when they're playing Toledo. And nobody would even have a clue. But if you know Toledo's a really good team and an A team, and Kent State's a 40 defense and a Z team, that's a bet. Especially the spreads are usually not too accurate. So we make a lot of money betting, especially against the Z teams here, or finding like Central Michigan's an over team or Western. One year I won a ton on Buffalo when they were good. Western Michigan, when they were rowing the boat a few years ago with the PJ Fleck, the Minnesota coach, we made a ton. We bet them over every week. We won every week. So you're looking for that team that's going to make us money. And it doesn't matter if it's Alabama and Georgia or it's Akron and Toledo. That's why we go through this. But now you'll have an understanding that few people will have on, because few people won't look at the MAC and the Sunbelt. They'll just go, well, who's Tennessee playing? How about Alabama? Let's just bet Alabama. Hey, let's bet Notre Dame. Let's bet Michigan. And that's what you got. So let me quickly read the Sunbelt, and it's 14 teams now. Every conference is so many teams. There's 132. There's probably 134 now. It's getting busy. We start with James Madison. They lost their coach to Indiana, but they were pretty good last year. Georgia Southern. Appalachian State lost their coach. Joey Aguilar, their quarterback, is now at Tennessee, and he's a good one. Old Dominion, Coastal Carolina, Georgia State, and Marshall, who lost 47 players to the portal or graduated, and their coach is gone. It's going to be a problem. Arkansas State in the West, Arkansas State, Texas State, very explosive team, great coach. G.J. Kinney is a very good offensive mind. South Alabama has a great coach there also in Applewhite, Major Applewhite. Lou Lafayette, you got to love Lou Lafayette. Troy, Southern Miss, and then Lou Monroe heads up the back of the field. So let us go into the Sun Belt and get a Sun Belt. All right, into the Sun Belt. All right, we start off with, now this is an offensive order last year. Texas State scored 37, gave up 24. New quarterback, Nate Yarnell, and they got Kinney, as I told you, very good offensive coach. We loved their quarterback last year. We locked him a couple times. And now we'll see what Nate Yarnell, he was 10-5 with 17 sacks. Little flag there with 17 sacks. Lou Lafayette, they have problems. Howard, the backup quarterback to Daniels at LSU, who's never played, is now looks like possibly their quarterback. The same coach, very good coach. Lou Lafayette made us a ton of money. South Alabama, Major Applewhite, the coach. Davenport is the new quarterback who I have as good. James Madison, 33 and a 20, very good team. Matthew Solka, 6 touchdowns, 1 pick, 4 sacks. Too early to say, but he looks okay. 6-1, that's still very good. Marshall, big trouble. Wilson, the quarterback from Syracuse who backed up Cam Ward, didn't play. Gibbs, the first time coaching as the defensive coordinator for NC State. 47 players left. Now in conversion, the coach went from Marshall to Southern Miss, Huff. Marshall was very good. They won their 31 offense, 23 defense. So Marshall was a very good team. They're going to suck this year because they got a new coach, but he went to Southern Miss, and Braxton, who was the Marshall quarterback, went to Southern Miss. 19 touchdowns, 2 picks, and 11 sacks, and he played a lot. So what you have is Marshall Jr. here in Southern Miss. They will be way under spread. We'll make a fortune on this. 15 points a game and gave up 37. Now you got a good coach. So Marshall was 31 and 23. So you're going to see a big offense, in the 30s. And the defense will probably come down to about 25, 26, depending on how many good players you got. Could be an over team, could be an A team. We'll see how it goes. But a very good coach and a very good quarterback, and that's a good combination. Let's see, Marshall last year, they ran for 202 yards a game, so that's a good thing. So anyway, very good. So keep in mind, Southern Miss, I even highlighted them as they're a B team now. Because if you just looked at last year, you'd go they're a Z team because they scored 15 and gave up 38, and we'd be betting against them and losing. Now we understand. Wait a minute, this Huff is a really good coach. Well, when we get to Southern Miss, we'll look at it, but this is why you got to keep track. So we know Major Applewhite at South Alabama should have a good offense. Kinney at Texas State will have a good offense. Those are your over teams, right? So let's go through this then. So Coastal Carolina, a guy named Morris, never coached before, but the coach is still there. Georgia Southern, J.C. French is 17 and 11. He played last year, 27 sacks. He's a nightmare. 28 and 28 last year, Georgia Southern. App State, they're going to go with Swan, who was the Vanderbilt quarterback. I do remember him. Loggins is a new coach from South Carolina. It's his first time coaching. We'll see. App State's usually a pretty good program, but, Aguilar was better, and then you got a new coach, so you got to see. They were 26 and 33 last year. They always used to have a good defense. So now, with Aguilar at Tennessee and with the 33 defense, we'll see what they do. Old Dominion. What's Old Dominion? 28 points per game, offense and defense. Colton Joseph, the new quarterback, 11 and 5 with 18 sacks. So he played some last year. The coach is the same. They're a pretty good team, Old D. I had them as an E team. They can score, and their defense is Arkansas State, 24 a game and give up 33. Got him as a W. Jalen Rayner, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and 31 sacks. This is prime junior here. 31 sacks, but the coach is the same. Troy, 26 and 28. Goose Crowder, not Goose Gossage, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks, 2 sacks, probably in a game or two. Parker, the Notre Dame offensive coordinator who sucked, is their coach. And I got him as a young, depleted team. And he's a lousy coach, so we'll go against him. Georgia State scored 23, gave up 33. Christian Villalieu, 13 touchdowns, 11 picks, and 9 interceptions, but the coach is still there. So the defense will suck. Maybe they get a little bit more, but the quarterback, too many interceptions. Lou Monroe, 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 9 and 17 sacks for Lou Monroe. They're the Z team. 21 points a game, gave up 28. Aiden Armonte, the new quarterback, and the coach is the same. And as we talked about Southern Miss, Braxton, the Marshall quarterback, is 19 and 2 with 11 sacks. Huff, the Marshall coach, is there. Look for them to be a sleeper. Let's see, do we get them? Let's see who we get week 1. Southern Miss. They open at Old Mississippi State. And let's see what the spread is. Old Mississippi. Old Mississippi State is 12.5, 59. And based on this defense, this is probably an over game. Because you got you got the whole Marshall and Braxton 19-2. Probably some receivers came with. Good coach. So he's good coach means he can spot talent. Old Mississippi State will have to see 12.5, 59 total, 34 defense. This should probably be an over game, would be my guess for Old Mississippi State. All right, so that's the MAC. So the best team, the A teams last year were Texas State, Lou Lafayette, James Madison. Look for Southern Miss to be a B team. Look for Marshall to be a Z team. Southern Alabama, good offense with Applewhite. The overs were Coastal Carolina, Georgia Southern, App State, but a couple of new coach at App State. Old D, 28-28. They're not bad. Now, one thing I look at is running. So who has a big running team? Texas State ran for 209. South Alabama ran for 193. Marshall ran for 202. So that's going to be Southern Miss this year. Last year they ran for 109. So look for their running to pick up, which really helps their defense. Old D ran for 210. And that's it. So those are really if you can run, the passing's there. Like I said, Texas State averaged 37 a game, and I love their quarterback. He was really good. He got injured, and they kind of lost a few games, and then he came back, and we locked him when they came back. I think they were playing Southern Miss or Lou Monroe or somebody. So it was a good lock, and it won. All right. Just for shits and giggles, let's go back. I want to go back and show you the interceptions, right? So let's look at Cam Ward. Oh, I probably don't have him. Oh, no, I have him here. So Cam Ward, 36 touchdowns, 7 picks, 22 sacks. Prime Junior, here you go, 38 sacks, 35-8, but he had 38 sacks. And as they look, that's the key. 41 sacks went to Fernando Mendoza, who's the new Indy quarterback. John Mateer, Washington State, 31 sacks. But 41. So here's Cam Ward with 38 sacks. Or no, 22. Prime Junior with 38 sacks. Jackson Dart with 25 sacks. Newsmeyer at LSU, 14. Morton at Texas Tech with 22. Dylan Gabriel at Oregon, just 13 sacks. So there you go. So let's go back to 23. Jalen Daniels, 22 sacks. Bo Nix, 5 sacks, 37 touchdowns, 2 picks, and 5 sacks. Yeah. Jalen Daniels, 40 touchdowns, 4 picks, and 22 sacks. Joey Aguilar, 33-9, 13 at Tennessee now. Michael Penix, 32 touchdowns, 8 picks, and 8 sacks. Oh, let's go to Caleb. Caleb, 30 touchdowns, 5 picks, 35 sacks. And let's see, where's Prime Junior? Prime Junior, 27-3 with 52 sacks. That says a mouthful, right? So you're looking at Caleb with 35 sacks, Bo Nix with 5, Daniels 22, Penix with 8. And you draft Caleb. Unbelievable. All right, so that is the Sunbelt. I'll read the Sunbelt now. Let me go back to class. All right, hello everybody. I'm back. I don't know how to do the split screens, and I really don't want to fuck anything up and lose the class, so I'll play around with it maybe later. What I do is I keep it all in a spreadsheet. I pull in the data from Yahoo Sports, and you can stat by quarterback, and it gives you touchdowns, interceptions, and sacks, and I just VLOOKUP it into the team. So this is why Caleb should never have went first, and why Prime Junior is terrible. He can't. It means he can't read a defense, and when they blitz him, he doesn't know how to get rid of the ball, so he takes the sack. Right now, they said, well, he took the sack instead of throwing an interception, which I don't believe. Just because you get rid of the ball doesn't mean you're going to throw an interception. So we have that. So anyway, that's it. So let's look at the Sunbelt in a little more detail. James Madison, Rob Chesney, 120 and 50 in 15 years as a head coach. Pretty good, even though it's probably a lower level. So did Brian Kelly. He started at Lake Superior State in Michigan, which I don't know where the hell that is, and he won 4 or 5 titles, so it doesn't matter. In his first season, they overhauled the roster, quickly turning the Dukes back into a competitive team. And that's what I expect Marshall to do with their coach, who's very good, is revamping getting rid of the guys who sucked. I'll never forget, like Vince Lombardi and Chuck Noll, when they started, they said, a lot of you guys aren't going to make the team. You're just not good. And they got rid of all the shit, and they brought in good players. And that's the point. That's why Green Bay and Pittsburgh won their titles, because they got rid of this shit and kept looking for, what they wanted. And when they found the Lombardi type of player, the Knoll type of player, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Mel Blount, Joe Green, when you find those players, then that's when you win Super Bowls. But you need a good coach to do it, and you need a good GM who allows him to get his players. Is Bama going to be good? Well, let's take a look at Alabama. They got a new quarterback. So before I get into Sunbelt, I will get into SEC. And we will see what type of team Alabama is. Alabama. Kalen DeBoer, great coach. You're going to have Ty Simpson as the new quarterback. He's a junior. 14 completions, 25 attempts, no interceptions, no touchdowns, 167 yards. So I don't know if it was mop-up duty or what. He did throw a little. Running back, Jam Miller, who ran for 668 yards. Ryan Williams is a great receiver, we know. And I guess Journey Bernard caught 50 balls. Ryan Williams only caught 48 balls for 865. That's because you had Milrose. That's the problem with the running quarterback. You got a guy like Milrose, but when you get a guy like Ryan Williams, who's a great receiver as a freshman, you only got him the ball 48 times. I'm sure Penix, when they went to the championship game for DeBoer, probably got his, Romo, Duzzi, and the other guys probably caught the ball 80, 90 times. So this was the problem. He was hamstrung with Milrose, who was 205 at 319, 11 touchdowns, or 16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and only threw for 2,800 yards, which is very low for a DeBoer offense. Plus you're playing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 games. Now, they didn't go to the playoffs, but they 13 games. And I don't know if Milrose played in the 13. That's probably Simpson against Michigan. They did score 33 a game. They passed for 236 and ran for 173. A lot of the rushing is Milrose. Defense, they gave up 17. So I can see the defense being improved. They gave up 137 rushing, 182. So they weren't playing the Steeler defense that whatchamacallit, coached. Nick Saban. Nick Saban ran the Steeler defense, right? And so DeBoer, they were okay defense at Washington, not great, but pretty good. So here's what can Ty Simpson play up to his 5-star potential? That's in high school. Throw that out the window. You don't know. So we got to see Ty Simpson, how good he is. Can he get the ball to Ryan Williams, which is the same question we have for the Minnesota Vikings. Can McCarthy stay healthy, and can he get the ball to Justin Jefferson? He'll be double teamed. He'll throw a lot of interceptions. J.J. McCarthy, what a joke that is. You drafted him in the first round, really. Just don't understand quarterbacks. You had Kirk Cousins, right? Wow. All right, so expectations are higher for DeBeer in year 2. Alabama are, whatever. The roster stars at every level and the envy of almost any program. Throw in some fuel after missing the 24 playoffs at the time. Okay, so they open at Florida State. I'm expecting them to kill Florida State. Then they go to Lou Monroe. Easy win. They're a Z team. Wisconsin, not very good. Then they go at Georgia. Good luck there. Vanderbilt, be careful. They lost to Vanderbilt. And my guy last year, what's his name? Jesus Christ, really? I can't think of. I keep coming up with Pukanuka, but I really want to come up with the Dagio Pavo. That's it. So they lost to Dagio last year. Look out. Then they go at Missouri, at home against Tennessee. And Joey Aguilar, they'll be pretty good. That'll be a high-scoring game, I think. At South Carolina is a bitch. LSU is going to be a bitch. Oklahoma, their coach sucks. Eastern Illinois, what's that doing there? And at Auburn. So I can see at Georgia, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, South Carolina, LSU. Maybe Oklahoma got better, but I doubt it. So there's 4 or 5 games they can lose. So we'll see how the defense is, and it's all up to Ty Simpson, who's basically a junior but hasn't played much. But he is a 5-star in high school. Okay, so to answer your question, we'll see. I think they'll get off to a good start against Florida State. What's that spread? Alabama. Alabama's 12.5, 50 against Florida State. A new quarterback for Florida State. The same call. I love the coach of Florida State, but he when he lost his quarterback, he was done with. And Buglio, really impressive last year. So a new quarterback, it's going to take time. I think the game's at Florida State. 12.5, kind of a big number, but I think they'll be, if you lay 6.5, I think you'll be okay. Shop around for good teaser odds. In Vegas, I was talking to my friend, and he says that a lot of books have increased the teaser odds. So they're like 130, 140 now. They should be. When I first started betting, they were even money. That was in the 70s. Then they slowly went up to 110. They've been 110 for a long time. You can still get 110, I think, at William Hill or some of these casinos if you're in Vegas. Be careful. BetMGM will be 130. You don't want to touch them. I don't know what FanDuel is. I don't use them, but we'll see where it goes. But certainly try to get the best odds. You want to get 110 on a 2-teamer. Or look for good odds on a 3-teamer, because I'll certainly give you 3 games to bet. But generally, we want to bet 2-team teasers and run our bankroll up, and then do a little 3 or 4-team. As I've shown you before, I hit 11-team and a 10-teamer. So if the games are there, we can hit them. We'll go from there. James Madison. So they're getting better. 33-20. They're a very good program. Matthew Solka is a senior, the new quarterback. Georgia Southern, I'm surprised they're picked second. J.C. Francis, we saw, was not a very good quarterback. They scored 28 a game, gave up 28. The Eagles were in the driver's seat for a spot in the Sunbelt Championship after big wins at James Madison and Marshall. So that's a pretty good thing. They were pretty good teams. Suffering a loss to Old Dominion. So Old Dominion, keep in mind, the nail in the coffin was a home loss to Troy. That's hard to believe. The hell do you lose to Troy? After beating South Alabama, they lose to Troy, beat Coastal Carolina, App State, and lost to Sam Houston, our boy Sam Houston. So it doesn't really help. The quarterback's back. Clay Helton, I've heard of him. 2019 in 3 years, 66, 43, and 8. I think it was Auburn or somebody. USC. So he's a pretty good coach. Arkansas State, Jalen Rayner is back at quarterback. Butch Jones. Now we heard of Butch Jones. He was on the Cowboys, and then he was at like Florida Atlantic or somewhere. So he's 103, 85 in 15 years, 19 and 31, 4 years at Arkansas State. I don't know. This Rainier is not that good. 25 a game, gave up 30. So basically, they're an offensive team and no defense. They open at Southeast Missouri State. Then they get Arkansas. Look for a butt whipping there. Texas State, my guy, Nate Yarnell, a new quarterback. J.C. Kinney is a very good offensive coach. He's 18 and 10 in 2 years, 28 and 12 in 3 years coaching. San Marcos, Texas, where the hell that is. There's a new quarterback, Holden Garnier, player to watch. Let's read up about him. The Bobcats looked at him. They answered quarterback. They gobbled up Giovanni McCoy from Oregon State. But then he transferred out. The fuck is that? Nate now comes from Pittsburgh. Okay, so I do remember him playing at Pitt. He made 5 starts, passed for 1,000 yards in 3 seasons. Not that good. Holden Garnier comes from Auburn, making 8 brief appearances. So here's the problem. So the guy goes to Auburn, he gets beat out, he cries, and then he transfers out. What you have is a crybaby quarterback, so you got to be careful there. So just the fact he got recruited at Auburn means he was a good high school player. And as we know, this is not high school, and that's where you got to let it play. They should score a lot because of the coach they have. So the coach, it's like Bill Walsh comes in, and Joe Montana, who was a superstar before, is all these he dissects with this great offense, which they wish they had right now. South Alabama. Their quarterback, Gio Lopez, left for North Carolina, and Bill Belichick. Major Applewhite, great coach, 7-6 in 1 year, 22-17, but a great offensive mind. They'll be putting up points. Bishop Davenport is a new quarterback. So they're a pretty good team. They open at Morgan State and get Tulane, Auburn, interesting, Coastal Carolina. And they close at Texas State. Keep an eye on Texas State and North Texas. They score big time. So I don't know. Bishop Davenport. They always have a capable replacing junior Bishop Davenport, the MVP of the bowl victory over Western Michigan. Oh, so he's on the team before. All right. So we'll see. So he's continuity. So they should be they scored 34 a game. They should be pretty good this year scoring. We'll see about their defense. Lou Lafayette, my team. Walter Howard, a junior. Former 5-star, Walter Howard, after starting his career at LSU and transferring to Ole Miss, now takes the reins. So he got beaten out at both of those schools. So how good is he? Michael DeSamarak at Louisville and over. He's 23 and 18 in 3 years, the coach. Scored 30 last year, gave up 30, an over team. They're usually a pretty good team, Lou Lafayette. They've dominated the West Division with 5 titles in 7 seasons. So look for them to be good. We made a lot of money on Lou Lafayette. App State. Dowell logins at App State, and overall his first year. Be careful. After years of dominance, the App State took a tumble in the standings last year, and that cost Coach Sean Clark his job, despite 40-24. See, that's how you do it. The guy loses, you get rid of him, and that's why is Daniel Jones in the league? Why is Prime Jr. in the league? Why are these guys that suck given another chance when they clearly suck? I just don't understand it. They scored 26 a game, gave up 32, so they're going to be an over team. If A.J. Swan, who I've heard of from Vanderbilt, was okay, nothing great, but we'll see. Again, the new coach, it's his first year. Let's see. They would play for new coach Dowell Loggins, who spent the past 2 seasons as South Carolina's offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. So he's trying to take credit for Norris. Look what I did. Norris is okay. He's just a big guy who can run good. So I don't know that that's going to make App State a good offensive power, because South Carolina is not a good offensive power. Old Dominion, Colton Joseph is back. He's a sophomore. Scored 28 a game, gave up 28 a game. The coach at Old D, he's 20-30 in 4 years with Old D. Has the pieces in the trenches on both sides of the ball to improve. It won't get a chance to ease. The Monarchs open at Indiana, and they're going to get killed and play at Virginia Tech. Yeah, so look for Old D. Joseph, he's a sophomore. I don't see him going into Indiana and winning. But we will see. But if they do win, then we circle Old D. Coastal Carolina. Coach Tim Beck is pinning his hopes on a staff overall that includes new coordinators Drew Hollingshead and Jeremiah Johnson. And we're supposed to care about that. They scored 28, give up 31. MJ Morris is the new quarterback who was there last year. The coach, Tim Beck, 14-12 in 2 years, nothing spectacular. They beat App State, Georgia State, Old D, William and Mary Temple, and Jacksonville State, a bunch of shit teams. Lost to Virginia, James Madison, Lou Lafayette, Troy, at Marshall. Nothing spectacular here. Troy with the shitty coach, scored 26 a game, gave up 28. Will Crowder is their quarterback. Returns after completed 69% of his pass, 5 touchdowns before an upper body injury ended his season in the 4th game. So he was the starter. The Trojans lost 1,000-yard rusher Damian. 1,000 yards in 13 games is not a big deal. It was big in 12 games to get 1,000 yards, and then they've kept it. Oh, well, like in the NFL, he gained 1,000 yards. They play 17 games now. It should be 2,000 yards. The Lions made a big deal. Both their running backs have gotten 1,000 yards and all-purpose running and passing. It's like, it's not good. All right. Gerald Parker at Troy, 4-8, 4-14, 1+ year. This is the Notre Dame offensive coordinator who sucks. So we will be betting against Troy. Southern Miss, we've talked about. Look for them to be very strong with this new coach. Charlie Huff at Southern Miss, 32-20 in 4 years at Marshall. Very good coach. So you can't look at the stats because you got to bring in the Marshall stats. Georgia State, Christian Velayu, a senior, scored 23 games, 33. Their coach, Del McGee, in 1 year was 4-9 last year for Georgia State. He stepped into a tough situation when Sean Elliott resigned, so this is really his first full year. McGee should be better prepared this time around, but the schedule includes 2 SC opponents, Ole Miss and Vandy, whatever. Marshall's going to suck. Their new coach, Troy Gibson, first time coaching. New head coach Tony Gibson signed 62 players to compete at every position, including quarterback. Syracuse backup Rio Wilson comes aboard as a likely starter because he has a strong arm and he's a runner, so he's a dual. Didn't do anything at Syracuse. Gibson arrives in Huntington after working as the defensive coordinator at NC State for the past 6 years. Okay, we'll see. We'll be betting against Marshall opens at Georgia. This is why they're 38-point dogs, because they lost the whole team. Football is a game that basketball, you can bring in one or two guys and they can be the Michael Jordan. That's all you need. Or Magic with Kareem and Worthy and AC Green and that, Bird, McHale, Paris. But so you don't need many guys. Football, it's the offensive line has to work as a unit. You got to get your timing down with the receivers and the handoffs to the running backs. And the defense has to learn to work together. Where are you going to be? Where are you going to be? So bringing in all these guys, it's going to take time to gel. So Georgia's going to have a field day, and they're pissed. Georgia and Alabama are pissed. They didn't win the title last year. Lou Monroe, terrible team. Aiden Armenta is the new quarterback. And who the hell is this guy? I don't know. Bryant Vincent is the coach, 5-7 in 1 year, 12-13 in 2 years. 21 points a game, gave up 28. They open at St. Francis, so they'll probably suck again. And that's it. And our last team is Notre Dame, who's an independent. The days may be over if Notre Dame contending 1 year only to have a rebuild the next. If Carr can play to a satisfactory level, the Irish should be in line for another trip. So Notre Dame is going with C.J. Carr, a new quarterback. C.J. Carr is expected to win the battle to replace Riley Leonard after Leonard led with his feet as much as well. What did you expect? The highly touted Carr has a solid set of wideouts. Great house and Faison, Virginia Trainer. So where is he for Heisman candidate? So the running back's a Heisman candidate. Very good running. Good offensive line. Who's the quarterback? C.J. Carr. I don't know. He's expected to replace him, but we don't know who he is. He's not there. So I don't know. There should be good. They scored 36 a game, 15. So the coach is getting better. C.J. Carr, he's a freshman. That's why we don't know. So he's a highly touted freshman, and they open at Miami. So be very careful. You're looking at mistakes from the freshman. Okay, now I get it. So Notre Dame, freshman quarterback, be very careful. They'll probably run the ball with Love and play defense. So we will see. Then they go to A&M and Purdue with this quarterback. Easy schedule. Well, they got Miami and A&M. Then they host Boise. USC should be very good this year. Navy should be very good this year, but they always have trouble with Notre Dame. At Pitt could be tough. This is a very easy. So Syracuse stinks, Stanford stinks. So they got Syracuse, they got Pitt, USC, who's decent, Boise, and then Miami and A&M. What an easy schedule for Notre Dame. Unbelievable. All right, so that is your Sunbelt. That is your Sunbelt Sunaroo. And your MAC. I've been trying to do that for a while. I'm glad I got it done. So I give you the quarterbacks. That's the key. Then the new coaches, a lot of transfers. So we'll keep an eye on that. The key is Southern Miss. They are very good. Let's look at Old Mississippi State, as long as we're in the South. And they're ranked at 84. Blake Shapen, who I believe is from Baylor or Tech or something. He's a very good quarterback. They scored 25. They gave up 34. Jeff Labey at Mississippi State, and overall 2-10 in 1 year. Jeff Labey's first year as head coach, 2-10 with a defense that couldn't stop anyone. whether it was Texas or Toledo. A bowl game this year seems a lot to ask. A sign of tangible progress would be a defense that can keep the Bulldogs in game. So you blindly see Southern Miss. You go, they're a Z team. They're not. They're Marshall. Good quarterback, 19-2, good coach. Look for them to be a little bit better. Mississippi State has 3 solid options at quarterback. Blake Shapen back for 1 more year after missing the final 8 games with a shoulder injury and the presumed starter. They added Luke from Florida State after his freshman year, an incoming freshman. So they got nothing. An injured guy and 2 freshmen. The defense struggles. So Southern Miss is not a good. They're ranked 84. Well, I don't know what the rank means. Look, Southern Miss could win this game. I mean, it might be a little early because they got to get used to it. But you've got the Marshall coach and the Marshall quarterback is excellent. So don't be surprised if Southern Miss plays them a game. Don't be surprised if it's high scoring because Old Mississippi State isn't that. Then they go to Arizona State. Then they got Elkhorn State and Northern Illinois. What a weak schedule. And then it's Tennessee, A&M, Florida, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Missouri, and Ole Miss. So good luck for Old Mississippi State. That's what I wanted to cover in this video. So we covered the coaches, how their monkeys could be coaching these teams. They're all idiots. They missed the game. They're there to win. And if you're pitching your ace, you do not want to take him out. He's not going to get – if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. It doesn't mean, oh, he's pitched 95 pitches, he's going to get hurt. Oh, so he automatically gets hurt if he pitches 101 pitches? You fucking kidding me? That's bullshit. That's because you've trained these guys to only go 85 pitches, 90 pitches. If I have school, he's pitching a complete game, especially when he's got one of these outings where he's shutting them out. He's pitching the entire game. Max Fried, Scanes, none of them are coming out. Maybe in the 9th inning if I have a good bullpen, like Philadelphia did. The guy pitched 8 innings against the Tigers Sunday. Then they went to Johan to pitch the 9th inning. So if I have Raleigh Fingers and Goose Gossage and Dennis Eckersley, then yes, I will go to them in the 9th. And they're going to pitch every day in the 9th. Otherwise, by pulling them in the 6th or 7th in pitch count, then you get into the bullpen who sucks because you're tiring them out. And you got to have 15 guys in the bullpen. You just don't have 15 guys that are major league players. This is the problem. So the coaches aren't smart enough to keep their ace on the mound, let him get the win because that's kind of why you're playing. And don't give me the bullshit. Mahomes can throw 50 passes. You don't see him coming out. They just deal with it. And then they can ice their arm after and they play next week. Well, that's what the baseball is. They play 5 days from now. So they got plenty of time to ice it and recover. So I really don't understand this 100-pitch pinch count. Baseball today, Philly under 8, Minnesota over 8, Cincinnati under 8, Oakland, Boston, Texas, and Milwaukee. The Philly under 8 game is 5 units. Preseason football, we got Oakland and Cincinnati in the teaser. Detroit over with the Rams and Tampa Bay with San Diego getting the points in the teaser. I'm going to come back and get into economics, but I wanted to do this separately. I find that if I do the MAC and the Sunbelt in a kind of a separate video, people can watch it. Holy shit, I talked 2 hours. All right. Well, anyway, we'll see how that works. So let me come back with economics in about 10 minutes, and we will go with that. All right. Thank you very much. Please, if you have questions or comments, feel free to ask them. And we'll get into economics because I really did a lot of sports yesterday, and then I had to go. And Monday I wasn't. I had my interview. So I tell Jenna about my interview, and I say, well, you got the job? And I said, well, they got to interview other people, right? I'll know in a week or two. She said, what's it take so long? Well, if they wanted you, they wouldn't interview anybody else. And I said, well, but that's what they choose 3 people. They want to make sure, they want to look at 3 or 4 people, interview us, and then they can choose the best person, but they got to see the people. So it's not any inclination if they like me or not. Although Tenneco, right after the interview, called me and 5 minutes later, and basically hired me. Although it was supposed to be a permanent job, it was contract, but it just doesn't work that way. It's not like dating where you see a girl and you go, "Oh, I want to date her," and you don't look at 3 or 4 other girls. Although I do, but you don't do that. But we will see. So she's like, "Oh, they don't. You need to apply." And I go, maybe you need to go back to school. I go, I got a fucking master's. Because I'm in finance, it's not anything different. If I was in IT, yes, I don't know like SASS or AI. I don't know those things, but they're not finance things. And so therefore I come in with my ability to be productive and do things like that and be creative and automate things and understand what I'm looking at in a financial statement. Well, the younger people don't have that. I've got the experience. I said to her, the problem is because I am older, it depends how long you're looking for me, but because I am older, I want more money. And the new guy who doesn't have that much experience, so then you got to decide, do I want the really experienced guy, got to pay for it, or I'm going to be cheap? I'll take the guy with a couple of years of college, and then I don't have to pay him as much. So that's up there. Now they obviously know my resume, that I have a lot. They know I worked at Visteon and Ford. They were very interested. So, I think I have a very good chance of getting it, but we'll see what the other 2 people are. But I'm trying to explain it. She's like, "Well, you're older. You need to go back to college." I go, "But it's finance. I don't need that. What am I going to take? I already got a master's. What am I going to take?" The only thing I could see taking is like an AI class or a SaaS class, which I don't even know what it is, or Power BI, but most companies don't even use that. And the ones that do, I was at Mercedes, we were doing Power BI. Nobody really understood it. And they said, it doesn't work. We're not going to use it. So anyway, I don't think I need to go back to school. I'm looking to retire. I said, as soon as the gold and silver goes up, then that's the key. And I got all the sports cards. So I'm fine. Like, you can go back to school, do more. And I go, first of all, I can't go back to school because I'm getting unemployment until I run out of unemployment. And because if you go to school, you won't collect. So anyway, that's not I know if I need more school, but I got a fucking master's. I don't need, what am I going to go back for? Accounting 101? I mean, that's ridiculous. Anyway, that's about it. So I will be back in 10 minutes and we'll talk finance, economics, and anything else that you want to talk about. All right. So have a good day. Part 2 coming up. Because I want to do Sunbelt and Mac anyway, kind of separately. So there you go. All right. I will be right back. Have a nice day. Thank you. Take care.